Andrew Luck, and that's because Andrew Luck through his career has been more consistently excellent than Cam Newton. Cam Newton, you could argue, has hit a higher peak at his best, winning league MVP, being voted as recently as the beginning of the previous season, or in the offseason of the previous season to this one, best player in the NFL by his peers. I mean, how much better does it get than that? And taking his team to the Super Bowl, though, if not blowing it, at least not coming through in some very big moments, giving his team a better chance to win. Still, he has just about hit the pinnacle of the sport as a quarterback. But it was just that year. And he's had one more really good year. And the others haven't been so good. Whereas Andrew Luck, even if you want to argue that he's never hit the peak Cam has hit, the only bad season he's ever had was the one in which he was injured. Otherwise, he's never been less than very good. He had a QBR under 65 1 year, and it was when he was hurt and only got into 7 games. So as long as Andrew Luck is good enough to go, and by the way, I love his attitude about his rehab. He doesn't think past this upcoming rehab session. He has kind of internalized all the lessons that you want a quarterback to internalize, and is therefore already, I think, one of the best in the business, and is year in and year out excellent. He is not going to be the problem on the Colts. The Colts may have a problem. It ain't going to be Andrew Luck.
Well, listen, it's never Andrew Luck as far as I'm concerned. Even when he was throwing interceptions, it was because he was trying to overcompensate. They did a piss-poor job of protecting him. Their defense has been suspect. I know they've got a new regime to some degree because Grigson is gone, but Pagano is still there. But I got to see to believe that they're going to protect him. I got to see to believe that they're going to put the requisite weapons around Andrew Luck before I believe he's going to have a better year than Cam Newton. Now, be clear. Andrew Luck, to me, is a better quarterback. He throws the ball better. No one can dispute that. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Luck. But to answer the question directly as it pertains to this upcoming season, I think the Colts have taken a step backwards and they're still trying to figure themselves out. I think the Carolina Panthers have recognized the errors of their ways, particularly by drafting Christian McCaffrey. And you've got a dual weapon out of the backfield as well as a pass catcher, all right? And I think that because of it, I think you'll see Cam Newton have a much better year this go-round. I think his decision-making is going to be better. I think he's going to be smarter about when he runs the football and how he protects himself while throwing or running the football. I think he's going to have more weapons than he did before. And I think as a result, the Carolina Panthers are going to be better because they'll need to be better with Atlanta in the division, with Tampa in the division, with who they drafted, and O.J. Howard still having Jameis Winston and what have you, and Mike Evans and those boys. And you can never dismiss the New Orleans Saints because you got Drew Brees there. I think Cam and them know that, and as a result, they'll better prepare. I think the problem with the Colts, Max, is that the Colts recognize that they play in the AFC South. And by playing in the AFC South, knowing that the division is suspect, I don't think they prioritize with levels of urgency that other teams may do. I don't think that's going to be a problem for Carolina, and that's why I suspect that Cam Newton, I'm not saying he's the better quarterback, but I think that I'm not even talking about passing yards. I think he'll have a more productive season.
Well, look, if you're talking about who you have more confidence in, I think you said something there that is true, which is the nature of football is in the NFL, it's so interdependent. It's so dependent on your teammates that when you mention McCaffrey, you're not just saying, well, Cam Newton has better teammates, therefore his team will do better and therefore will perceive Cam as better. What you're saying is because he has better teammates, he will be able himself to actually become a better player because he'll be afforded the luxury of making better decisions. More guys will be open, etc. So there is something to that. Like philosophically, if you're talking about quarterbacks, we're not saying here, hey, imagine if they switched teams, who would be better. The team you're on affects your play and even affects your intrinsic quality as a player because the sport is interdependent. Even considering that, I would still rather have Andrew Luck this year than Cam Newton based on their careers. Cam Newton, it's like you roll the dice, and if it's his season, wow, he'll be better than everyone. Andrew Luck, it's not a roll of the dice. It's every single year, this guy is an excellent quarterback, and I think the odds say he will continue to be an excellent quarterback.
Yeah, but the Panthers are better than the Colts.
There's a difference between somebody who performs as an individual and somebody who galvanizes the troops around him to perform at an elite level, and I think the latter favors Cam Newton.
And this year, by his peers, Cam was voted 7 spots higher than Andrew Luck, which was a role reversal from the past there on the top 100 players list.